The semifinal action continues here in Brampton, Ontario, the VC Showcase Field. Wicked West out of Ottawa, Ontario. In the dark jerseys, taking on Vortex out of British Columbia. Exciting matchup for you. Theo Wong, Clayton Howlett on the mic, and our producer for this game, Tushar Singh, making his return. The prodigal son has returned. Clay, you had a chance to be downfield before the game. What was the vibe?
Excitement.
Down a field level.
Certainly excitement. Both teams having been on this field with observers on the stream before, so they've been in this high-pressure situation. A lot of focus, too, though. It is definitely these teams are ready to go for semis. They're ready to play. They understand what's at stake here. Theo, I'll just note before we get started, I did double-check with the Vortex coaches, as Vortex is actually a program that reaches all the way around kind of in the Lower Mainland. And this year on the women's side of things, they are primarily a Fraser Valley team.
So we may refer them time to time as the Fraser Valley squad or the Fraser Valley outfit. Okay, Clement going to pick up the disc, and it's going to start on the sideline. Excuse me, they're going to take it at the brick mark is Clement. Center O-line handler for this Wicked West squad. Little play from the open side cutters cutting under.
Yeah, the ecstasy play, 2 players clearing and 1 cutting around.
Great effort there, trying to make the grab. Watson. And we saw Brooklyn Shear throw that disc, and you're going to see a lot of number 40 for Wicked West.
Yeah, Cheer, an absolute dominant performance earlier when we featured Wicked West on the stream.
Ha picking up for Vortex, the team in white. Brilliantis going up line. Expect big things from her as this throw's going to go up. Reeled in, skying her own teammate even.
Right on the doorstep. Vortex showing some patience, but Wicked West able to read the next cut, that good presence of mind of what the offense will probably look like.
In vertical stack sets, Clay, you often know where certain cuts are going to be. It makes it easy to read sometimes because teams run a lot of similar things.
Yeah, it's always great in the junior division to see players already having that presence of mind and understanding what the look is going to be. We're seeing a zone look from Vortex right now.
Kennedy zipping it over, and now all the way here to Cheer. And just in and out of the hands. Beaulieu, one of the Team Canada players, number 2 there on your screen. Forcing sideline call from Boehm Edwards. Up the line, looking for Laura, and Vortex gets the break started. Danielle Ha throws an assist.
Rhea Laura, you made a big sky to get outside of the end zone. A few turnovers later, you make a big layout to fire up your team and get that break right off the bat. Man, Laura showing up, obviously hungry to win this game. Getting a lot of high fives and pats on the back after that big showing on that point.
For this Vortex team, they lost to Toronto Eclipse to start off their pool play. Able to then take out to 10, 11-9, and then crossovers. It was 15-2 over Mischief, and quarters defeating Mofo 15-4. So they've started to continue to peak here, is all I'm saying, Clay.
Yeah, had a chance to watch some of their games. I also spoken to some coaches out there in the field that have been watching them. And what I recently heard was just everything is sticking to their hands. Vortex, that invisible Velcro today, the magnetism, and just coming down with everything. So their tournament on an upward trajectory.
RV Brillantes to pull for Vortex. We saw Christiane Peralta out there, one of the coaches, the head coach, discussing things.
I'm not sure. Maybe just saying keep it chilly right now. I mean, and sticking to the game plan. But now a gift for Vortex.
The centering pass for Kennedy, not where Clement wanted it to be. And now it's Vortex picking up. Levoncom has it taken away. Trying to look for Brillantes. Cheer moving things over to Clement.
So, still containment look from Vortex here. They got the zone. I mean, the wind has picked up, so I like this look. Wicked West trying to motor through and disrupt the zone, but now we're running out of time. And that dish pass not really improving the field position as Vortex holds on to the zone.
It's going to cause some more turnovers here from Wicked West. They're going to shoot right away. Clay, I'm going to say it. I like the looks, but that throw just need a little more float.
Yeah, feeling like a little bit of a broken record about it. We like the looks, but the execution has been lasers on those leading passes. They're almost always out of reach.
Clement on this coffin corner, have to flip it out, finds Shannon. Gets it over to Cheer. They work it up all to that far sideline. The zone staying on it here for Vortex.
Vortex is okay with this. They are forcing that far sideline. They want the disc on that side, and then they really clamp down when it has to move back this way. So allowing the disc to get there is kind of your strategy.
Beaulieu going to throw up a blade to the break side of the field. Brillantes in the deep space, making things happen. Looking for Brillantes. Clement is there. Will this throw stay in bounds? And Clement just going to knock it away for sure measure.
Vortex keeping the zone look. It's interesting that they're forcing sideline, Theo. They really don't want it in the middle. So often you'll see zones kind of force in one direction if it's a crosswind, but as it's upwind, they just decide to keep the disc or attempt to keep the disc out of the middle. That pass catches the air and is macked.
I'm not sure if there'll be a strip call here. Thought maybe Encandencia had it, but it's going to result in a turnover.
I don't think Encandencia really had stopped rotation there. She was just bobbling it a little bit. Wicked West getting their hands in there to break that up.
Want to see Wicked West, work it to the break side if possible.
Yeah, not only that, but look in front of the disc. Who's there in that hole right now?
Big throw going up. Brillantes stepping up for a jump and going to get a second block at this point. Going to laser afflict that. I don't know if it was in bounds at any point.
Observer Cecile drops that pylon down for us right in front of the camera, showing where the disc went out of bounds. Theo, I'll continue that thought as we can see Vortex heading back up into their zone. As the disc moves from side to side for Wicked right now, there has to be a player on Wicked that knows where the next pass is going to come from and attack the middle. But we're seeing a melt to person right now. I'm wrong. So one-on-one matchups.
Beaulieu finds Heinemann. Heinemann trying to throw it over, and it's taken out by Shannon. Good concentration by 21. Over to Cheer. There, Wicked West able to move it laterally. And a big block. Brillantes, absolute rejection. Third defensive block at this point, going deep. And oh so close. Love the Jets on number 8, just having a great point right now.
I thought she had no chance. And then just, you can see full extension on the legs in that layout. Probably touching that pass, getting so much more closer than I thought. Such athleticism.
See Brillantes continually checking the head here for a deep shot. Hyman almost there.
Huck where too deep. I mean, to throw a 40-yard huck when your players are already down there, really hard to complete that pass.
Gutierrez needs a reset. Going up the line, Brillantes, see if there's a call. There is none. Gorber was there.
Yeah, Gorber, I think, had established their position in that lane first, and Brillantes had that bump, but good to hold that position if you're Wicked West.
Wicked West with the best field position they've had so far, at least starting wise, finding over to Cheer, past the brick mark, moving things over to Gorber.
Good choice by Gorber to center the disc.
Big offensive point for them, and they do find it for the score. Shannon getting the pass from Kennedy.
Wicked West far more comfortable moving the disc in a person defense, that one-on-one matchup, rather than facing a zone. I think Vortex is using the strategy right now to melt into that one-on-one person defense when they reach about half. We've seen a lot of teams using that strategy, which is interesting because I'm old and not really familiar with it, Theo, but that seems to be the red line for a lot of teams. As soon as the offense makes it to half, they're flowing into person without much of an audible. However, maybe after seeing that, if you're the coaches on Vortex seeing, okay, we had our zone, really, really effective. They eventually broke through it somewhat to get to half field, and we melted to person. They had no issue. So I'm thinking maybe next time you tell your players, let's have an audible call-off rather than a barrier on the field. Let's hold the zone a lot longer.
Brilliantis coming back on the line here. We know Sherry Credo going to be a big handler for them. Tied for 7th in total points is Credo, has 12 assists, a goal to her name. And we saw Wicked West coach, one of their 6 coaches, Laura Story, coming off the field. You never hear that too often, Clay, 6 coaches on an Ultimate team.
No, I had a chance to speak with the Wicked West coaches about it. Tried to make fun of my friend Eric Hunter about it, who is one of the coaches. But no, he said, hey, if it works, it works. Why not use all the knowledge you can if the coaches can work out proper and easy account of responsibilities.
Brilliantis throw going to settle into the turf here as Belanger on the previous stream was a big-time D-line handler for Wicked West. Moving things over. Finds Muter. See if there's a call as players colliding in. Perhaps an injury as well, getting tangled up.
Yeah, it looks like number 11 might have a hurt ankle. So that's Kira Watson, a third of the coaching staff coming out to check on her. And, I mean, Watson did a good job there to save that. She went to the disc seeing that the defense might have a shot. They seem friendly with each other. They know it was an accident. I mean, Watson did what she did to keep possession there. And the defender also did a good job to pull up as quick as she could. Brooklyn Cheer coming on for Watson.
That's a good sub to have if you're Wicked West. Get a little Team Canada experience in there.
Yep.
Cheer, a big part of that squad, 12 goals, 6 assists at that World Tournament. Cheer will pick up in this zone look here from Vortex. 1-1 the score. Wicked West trying to look for a break to tie this one up.
Priantes will pick up.
That throw snagged down by Credo. Thought it might be too high, but the athleticism of number 5 making plays happen. And it was tipped away, and we'll go the direction of Wicked West.
The zone right back on. I like that look from Vortex. Priantes is in the backfield. After showing us speed earlier, that's great to have someone at the back who can turn on the wheels. And Wicked West, a chance for kind of a breakout, a 2-on-1 situation, but that pass is bobbled. Turnover, and Briantes will pick up.
Brooks trying to make that catch for Wicked West. Briantes has a free reset in Credo. Credo finally has a mark set here in Muter. Reset over to Brillantes. Might be a little 2-person game here. Credo has someone poached as a defender had come in the lane. Credo going up the line for Brillantes. And they're content to work it up this open sideline for the grab. And a break point, a hold for Vortex. Got a little ahead of myself.
Theo, interesting start to this game. It is getting pretty windy. Producer Tushar giving us the hand signals that the wind is kind of coming in from the top left corner of the field. You can see it as the left corner, the far corner on your screen right now. But that's interesting because we have no goals in our end zone on the right now, which early in the tournament, the script was flipped. It was always goals on the right side of our field, downwind points. We've only seen upwind points so far. I mean, that's good. I like that. You're seeing both teams are saying, you know what, this win, not a big deal. We got this. You need that confidence early in the game. If the wind does pick up, knowing you've already scored upwind, coaches like to remind players that you've done this before, you can do it again.
And with the teams, the way they're set and different experiences, of course, some players having played during the pandemic with their regionally or some their first CUC. And we're going to see some players get a lot of action. Brilliantis, we're going to say her name quite often. And Brilliantis, 4 straight points. So not going to come off the field. We saw a little bit last game with Pollitt for Mofo and Miller for Toro, among others.
Yeah, you're looking for that comfortable lead before you start taking your starting line players off. You're giving them a lot of heavy work right now because you want to be in a position where you have the option of resting them, where you're not kind of in any positions of desperation or urgency.
Great pull. That's going to allow the defense to settle down. Paraga is setting the mark. Excuse me, that's Vavankum. Zone look trapping on this sideline. A through shot gets taken away. Big block there. Wood.
Players for Wicked so stagnant in the zone. Run behind the thrower, run in front of the thrower, make the cup move around. Right now, just relying on those throwers to make tough shots.
Vavankum has Brilliantis up line. Burns her check for the score. And a big kick spike as they take a 3-1 lead.
I'm just looking down at the line, Theo, and I'm chuckling because I'm seeing Observer Colin give a little talking to Vortex there about the early celebration. And we have seen teams get in trouble for that. They do have to wait for the triple signal sequence from our observers. They will signal that the disc has landed in the end, been caught, I should say, in the end zone. By pointing to the ground, they will then bring their thumbs to their shoulders to indicate, to basically check with each other. Are there any calls on the field? That's the call check. Is this goal going to stand? And if they look at each other and find that there are none, they both have their thumbs on their shoulder. When they make eye contact, they'll lift up their arms, signal a goal. And that's when teams are allowed to celebrate. You've said it's kind of anticlimactic, but needs to be done.
Right.
Got to get it right.
Got to get it right for sure. And we see Eric Hunter, Christy Ellis talking to the offensive line for Wicked West. Wicked West, the program producing a lot of Team Canada athletes, a few of them on this field right now, in Hindman, Bullia, and Shear. We've seen Shear get involved throughout this game so far, and going to have to do more of that if Wicked West wants them to come back. It's early, of course, but the momentum clearly on the Fraser Valley squad on their side.
So a pull from Brianna is not a big surprise. She remains on the field. And also not to a big surprise, Vortex holds on to their zone.
Getting it through is Clement, looking for Belanger. Brilliantis telling everyone to chill out a bit as
saddle down.
She directs the offense. Big backhand huck fake. Going inside shot up the line. 2 Vortex players trying to make the play and one coming down with an injury there. That's Romano. And love the spirit. Look at the players right away, Clay. You notice something. They all just go down right to the field, making sure.
Yeah. Coach KP right over to see what's going on, not crowding her player, giving her a moment to catch her breath or get her wits about her. That one a tough one. It looked to me, Theo, that the collisions were more purple and white on white violence there. That didn't seem to be teams crossing over and hitting each other. Rather, it was just players from both teams colliding. But when you're in the air, it's hard to tell. Some discussion. I'm not sure if there's an injury. Yes, there is an injury call. So that Vortex player going to take a sub. So Romano going to take a minute to catch her breath as Ha comes in.
This is going to be tapped in, and walking to the disc is Bolya. Up the line to Clement. Still very tight zone cores. The inside shot is what they need. Finding Shannon. Once again, Clement doing a great job. They got to move to the break side now. Cheer, but there's the waiting arms of Brilliantis who puts up a floaty huck.
Vortex is baiting that.
Wicked West baiting that as Cheer with the block. Back-to-back deep blocks from both sides. Melt call does it go to person, and this is where Wicked West a little bit more comfortable right now, but Brillantes, I think that's 5 blocks. Need a block meter for number 8 at some point.
Haas throw a little too high, but she had the option, so I like the choice.
Belanger catching that and has a target. Finds Beaulieu up line. Beaulieu marked by Marr. They're going up line, forcing it to that open sideline. And Shannon finds Shear for the score and the hold.
Theo, that's our second goal in this end of the field. So, well, Vortex remaining high energy. I'm just looking at Coach KP and the Vortex players holding up their arms, all focusing on who's next to go on. We've given RV Brillantes a lot of airtime this game so far, rightfully so, Theo. Curious if they're going to give RV a break right now. And it looks like she'll stay on.
The break in between points can help. I know it's still a lot of mileage, especially as the heat comes down, but when you have a player of the star power Brillantes, you're going to have to just continue riding that star. 6 point in a row. We see it a lot in college as well. We got the Canadian Ultimate or University Ultimate Championships coming at you from this same location down in October. So you can expect more Ultimate action here from Ultimate Canada and I Am Ultimate. I want to thank Tushar Singh for making his way over. We missed you, Tushar, for a couple days, so you're back out here producing for us, manning the camera, 1s and 2s.
I mean, we have to behave now, but
we can't say the things we said before is what you're telling me.
No, just getting a chuckle out of Tushar. We love having you here, and the feedback we are getting from you is so helpful in refining our craft up here in the tower.
The Nest, we're calling it, or Tower. Far side of the Mercado. Up the line. Brillantes is going deep, but that throw is going to be too far.
That throw did have a lot more touch on it, but not enough. We are seeing from Vortex that tendency that when Brillantes is open, you just send it. She's made some insanely athletic plays. And now we see her move it to the backfield. Vortex has been baiting the over the top, a really tight zone. We see them loose right now, though, as they are allowing Wicked to move the disc to the open side of the field. Wicked West, finding holes.
I'm not sure if there's a drop right there from Carsey. And it is a drop, and it's going to go back to Vortex. We saw Incandencia in the mid spot that got beat, so Incandencia had to pick and choose because there were 2 Wicked players, 1 short, 1 deep on that one. Brillantes picking up, has you going up line, instead going to go deep. Great effort there, putting out the wings, trying to make that happen.
Vortex taking the shots, likely because they're feeling very comfortable with their zone defense right now. Every time it's on, it generates a turnover. Wicked is only scoring when Vortex is playing person defense, so.
And you might be a prophet here, Clay, is all I'm going to say. It results in a turnover. And Vortex now. You finds Brillantes. Brillantes keeping things going. It was batted twice and then dropped. Mercado not able to come down with it.
I hear Coach Hunter yelling at his players, or vocally expressing to his players to get going.
Good concentration from Ocean Wendler there. Has Cheer in the backfield, finds, or Belanger, excuse me. Carsey, the lefty, was buzzing all around the field for Wicked West in the last stream that we saw. they're moving it forward here to Belanger.
Good choice by Belanger.
Carsey has two players there, flipping it over, but it's knocked away. Mooter was open for a split second there.
Theo, if you're going to point and call your throw when there's defense in the area of what you want, you need to remember everybody saw it coming. So, you know, I like Belanger's choice to look off the deep shot to Carsey. Carsey electing to go deep, and it's that extra little bit of patience we need to have one needs to have in the red zone to make things work. But Wicked West gets it right back.
Boulanger going up the line, but thought Brillantes maybe jumped too early, the throw hanging, but another defender getting there in Credo.
Theo, I get the sense there that was sort of the up the line throw is plan A, but if there's defenders in the area, you have to fade to plan B. Don't force it.
Credo needs some options, and it's smacked away.
Oh, Wicked West just fighting so hard for the defense on here to get this upwind point. This will put them back in a great position.
Boulanger going up the line. Finds her teammate for the score, and Wicked West gets the break.
3-3, a much-needed break. You can say that as Vortex will be receiving, Vortex is still kind of understood to be in the lead. It's a tie game, but they will be starting on offense on this next point. However, as we saw that point, Theo, the wind picking up, causing a huge change in the play style and what is needed and everything that was happening. So Wicked West able to have the downwind defensive point. There is a timeout taken by Vortex, perhaps to talk about what the game plan is going to be now.
Coach is going to talk game plan. We're going to take a break and be right back. Vortex just taking a timeout. Back on offense here. Great saving grab as Wicked West putting on their zone. We expect with the wind the way it is, Clay, especially going right to left, we're going to see a lot of Z out here.
Yeah, and Wicked West seeming that they want to show their zone now to Vortex. This is what I want to see from Wicked West earlier, that attack in front of the end zone, but then this throw I don't want to see.
Boulanger is going to come down with it, and if you're an Ottawa fan, you want to see it because it allows you to get multiple players in the defensive space. Brooks firing it forward. It'll be caught by Vortex and Gutierrez. Credo going into the deep space. Brillantes there as well, and Brillantes cutting under to make the grab. Has Credo going up line. This throw will pop and be snacked down by Wicked West.
There is a call. Definitely some contact that could be an injury foul. I'm not sure which, but someone from Vortex there definitely getting it. But hey, look at that good spirit that you remarked earlier. Every player taking a knee immediately. Coach KP right out there to check on her player.
I'm liking that twice now.
And you know what I'm liking? The silence. We're not hearing any players complain about the call or make their hot take. The hot takes are for us up here, but no players down there giving their hot takes on what they think is going on. Everybody just taking that knee and making sure that player is going to be okay.
Spirit has been a point of discussion between different teams, and we've seen some Spirit scores that have been high, but Clay, we've also seen some Spirit scores that have been low.
So I'm watching the signal from the observers right now, and from what I can tell, there was a foul call. It actually escapes my mind at this very moment, Theo. I believe the injury call is an X above the head, but an X down below near the hips indicates a foul. Oh, I'm sorry. Injury is, if you're not an observer, injury is tapping your shoulders. But no subs, as it is a foul contest, so it'll go back to thrower. Brianna has another chance at that execution, as that certainly is not the throw she wanted, looping over like that.
Wanted to find Credo in that space. Looking for Credo once again. Does find her with the backhand. And as the mark, that's a tough one because you saw Brillantes throw the up line, but instead goes with a break backhand around.
Big hold for Vortex. They, like I said, that does keep them in the lead. I kind of felt that Wicked West was actually in the driver's seat there, as it was a downwind point and they had that strong zone. But there was a lot of good attacking from Vortex in front of the zone. They did get impatient and threw it over, which resulted in a turnover. But then Wicked West not able to execute and turning it over too close to their end zone that Vortex is able to take advantage.
Wicked West offensive line back out there ready to go. See a lot of their usual players. And we talked about the under 20 team with players currently on the field, but they also had players in Georgia Cameron. Emily Marshall played for Stella, as well as Kira McLean and Riley Belanger, making the 2022 squad. And also in 2020, Regan Belanger coming out of this Wicked program as well. And Vortex, they have a player that people may have seen tearing up at Worlds, at the World Ultimate Club Championships. Mika Kurahashi, playing for Red Flag, has played for multiple Team Canada squads and a star for UBC.
Yeah, I think she had, she was certainly in the top 3 of goals caught for Red Flag that tournament.
Oh, for sure. Big presence for them on the O-line.
Zone look by Vortex again. Seeing more of an attack from Wicked West. And there's a double team call. And it looks, so right now the Wicked West player, that thrower explaining to the other players that there's a double team, they have to back up. So the stall count does reset. She has more time.
Polio airing this out. Trying to track it down, but that is a tough throw. We've seen it in the other division as well.
And that's the throw Vortex wants to force. It's windy. You want high throws that are going to get caught. It's exactly the game plan for Vortex right now.
Up the line. Oh, so close. And Candencia trying to get the right hand there for the grab.
So right now, Theo, what I want to see a quick swing for a gain and then immediate attack in front of the receiver. But Vortex doing that forced sideline, which is making things very difficult for Wicked West. They can't get anything going. A foul called on that catch. So Beaulieu saying she was contacted as she was making an effort. I'm inclined to agree with her. It is a foul contest, so it will go back to the thrower. I want to see Clement move this disc to the middle immediately, and then for Cheer to have an option where she can pitch it up the field directly in front of her. The little L shape is what Wicked needs right now. Where's that continue? Well, good containment by Vortex.
Cup zone look as they get to the break side to Clement. Clement moving it forward. And that just bounces off the hands of Bohm Edwards. Inside shot from Credo. Low throw that's scooped up. Mercado gets the goal, and it's a break for Vortex. What an inside shot from number 5.
Big break from Vortex puts them back in control. They are now up 5-3. Our scoreboard on the other end of the field there.
Looking a little different.
Looking
a little wonky.
The score is not 14-4. We see a TMF being presented to Vortex. I'm almost certain that's for the celebration.
Yep.
You don't want to get 3 of those blue cards, Theo, on the third TMF, team misconduct foul.
Oh, yeah, don't want that.
Your team ends up with the disc in a very unfavorable position off the pole. If that comes to pass, I'll explain it because I kind of wait till I want to wait till I see it so I don't get it wrong.
You don't want to be too much of a prophet here. We saw that last broadcast as well. So you want to let things happen as they may.
Yeah.
And Clay, I just want to say I've had a blast all week. This is our last day together, so I'm, chance to get a little nostalgic perhaps as we close it out. We got more finals coming at you, so don't worry. You'll get more of Clay and Howland, Theo Wan, Tushar Singh, as well as our producer. Open final 12:30. That'll be at 9:30 a.m. over there in Vancouver, 11:30 Mountain. And it'll be Eclipse out of BC taking on Mofo, the 1 and 3 seeds, going at it. And the winner of this game will take on the winner of Eclipse Mischief on the other side. 3 BC teams out of 4 in the women's semi. I know BC Ultimate fans will want me to say that.
They would. The B sweep, they want it. They're watching. I know this because I'm getting chirped a little over my private messaging, Theo. People reminding me to be fair. This short pull by Vortex means they'll melt into a person defense right away.
Good grab under pressure, getting up right away. Beaulieu has Belanger with a sweet up line cut that gets taken away by the mark. Very active. And we see a lot of active marks from Vortex causing some trouble. Belanger crossing over to this offensive line, primarily a defensive player. But they know Wicked West needs some more firepower in the handler space.
Person defense by Wicked West.
Great undercut from Incandencia, but it's taken away as 2 players go into the space. Batted by Hyman, but saved by Incandencia.
What a save.
What a save is right, keeping things alive for this break opportunity. Very tight quarters right now for the team in white. Playing with a little fire, but layout save will keep things moving for Vortex. Velasquez. It's all up line so far as Credo making a dive. They all just like to hit the turf as Credo finds her target. And another break for Vortex.
Theo, I don't think I'm being too much of a homer here saying that Vortex just showing the superior wheels there. They just up the line and unders at will. Wicked West will take a timeout as Vortex is now getting that 3-point lead that we've talked about being so troublesome for some teams. Yeah, timeout Wicked West, so perhaps we'll take a break.
Let's do that.
We'll be back.
Thank you for watching I Am Ultimate's coverage of the 2022 Canadian Ultimate Championships. We're in the Junior Women's Division semifinal action between Vortex in white, Fraser Valley, British Columbia, taking on Wicked West in the dark jerseys out of Ottawa, Ontario. Theo Wan here with Clay and Howlett. Clay, what does Wicked West need to do on this zone offense?
Move, dump and swing and work really hard for the arounds. We know that Vortex is baiting the disc to the sidelines, particularly that away sideline. See that around throw there, and then an immediate continue into the middle is what they need, just like that. More of that is going to put Wicked West in a way better position, and don't be afraid to work hard in that three-person drill and work the disc around, and don't get impatient. Play small ball for a little while, or you're going to end up in this situation that we have right now.
Sometimes these players, the internal clock just ramps up. You feel that pressure and feel like you need to do something like that. You spinning around needs a reset and just out of the hands and reach a Paragas.
So we've seen at about the halfway mark. Vortex is going to go into person defense. Also on a fast break like that, hard to set up a zone, so they do fall into person.
Belanger zipping it forward, but Brillantes coming out with another block, but a foul called by Cheer.
Well, these two players going to show us a battle, as they've been the major players on their teams this week. Also, Theo, I think one more thing I'd like to see out of Wicked West right now is the undercuts are sort of telegraphed. They're coming a little bit late. The thrower has the disc. We have players in the middle field, out vertical or horizontal offense, whatever they're running, a little bit static, and then at stall 3, decide to try and throw juke and then make a move. Easy to read as a defender, and when you have the wheels like Brillantes, you know it's coming and you know you can make up that ground. So we'll see if Brillantes here is ruled as perhaps muscling Cheer out of position that Cheer had already established. Team Orange out there, we've got Cecile and Colin, and it is ruled a foul contest, not going to the observers. The players just electing to go with foul contest, so the disc comes back.
Tense times for the Wicked West coaching staff. We see on the sideline Mike Belanger just sitting down, contemplating some things and what strategies they can do. Inside shot over to Cheer, but there's a call. Travel all the way back at Billiot's throw.
I think that's a change of direction or a slow down then speed up. A common travel is if you slow down while you're bringing your momentum down to set a pivot and then elect to throw in that time and take that extra step and speed up, that is a change of speed, which is illegal. This could also, and your feet, if you never establish a pivot and you're within 3 steps, you're allowed. I think Vortex is arguing that a pivot was established and then there was a foot drag from what I can tell. Travel calls, difficult. There's lots of different ways to travel, and sometimes it takes some clarity and some talking. So the players do agree the travel call comes back.
Beaulieu facing a flick force right now, finds Cheer, getting big yards under.
See
some instruction there from Hunter. I think you're going to come in on the same thing about reading the minds, and Brillantes can't test number 8 in the deep space right now if you're Wicked West.
She's just baiting that. Before she was poaching in the lanes.
Big throw going up, and going to be away from the receiver there and Mar, but you're making Wicked West set up.
My coaching brain just went off here, Theo. Wicked West, move it. Don't let them set up their zone, because you know that's where you've had problems. But perhaps, there's been some discussions about patience with that team and keeping the energy in check. So a tough position. I want to see Clement move that disc. Yes. Keep that zone moving. Move it again. Don't hold out too long. The zone sets up. You need to break now. Get it off that sideline.
In the middle of the zone, Mercado providing a lot of length right now as they work it back and forth up the line. They're still trying to force that flick. They're trying to go, keeping it that line for Clement, who makes the grab, and see if they will eventually get to this middle of the field, but forcing it there. There's going to be a call, and I think it's going to be out of bounds too.
Yeah, observer calling that out of bounds. Observers are making active in and out calls, which has been helpful for the players. It's hard to know exactly where your toes are when you make that layout.
Deep shot going for Brillantes, sizing it up. Gonna take it with the right hand. Danielle Ha throwing that assist. It's a break for Vortex.
Wicked West is having success on their offense when they keep the disc off the sideline. And I really want to see them work harder on the around break. It is very difficult to make that throw. You're playing a one-on-one, three-person drill as ultimate players know it, but you have to, when you keep making turnovers on the sideline, get it off of there. That's where all your problems are. So, Theo, you know, we always, we coaches, when we're coaching, I only coached a little bit, but when we're coaching, we like to say, you know, if you see the problems on the field where they are, let's get it away from that. Let's not try and keep forcing that. So, no timeouts or anything here, even though we are at a 4-point deficit.
No timeout, but it looks like a whole host of new players. I'm not seeing Cheer out there or Hindman, Clement, Beaulieu.
I think we're going to see upwind, downwind right now. So, Wicked West has shown that they've scored, that they can score upwind, but they are certainly struggling against the zone right now. And perhaps you want to keep those players that are getting used to playing against that zone all together on the same line, moving upwind as they work it out, because it is certainly getting better. So for a downwind hold here, perhaps change up your roster. Give those players you need to do the upwind work the rest right now.
Zone look still from Vortex. Flick around, that gets snacked out of the air. That brings some cheers over from the Vortex fans. Romano. And then the throw gonna not reach the intended target, giving Wicked West another opportunity on offense.
Vortex keeping the zone as they have time to set up.
Kenny dishing off to Mooter.
Ooh, far better handler movement here. Options attacking, making the Vortex zone, or cup I should say, move around, and then there's resets in the back. That throw errant, but is cleaned up.
Like also how Carsey wasn't watching her throw through and then went right into the middle to get a pop. Sometimes you see a lot of throwers do that, but that one's going to be caught. And Condencia. Now Vortex, chance to take half, go up 8-3. Levancom looking, finds Brillantes, who makes a grab under a lot of pressure. Brillantes push pass for the score, and number 8 putting the team on her back, finding Siraban for the grab, second goal. And it's 8-3.
8-3. That'll be halftime. I want to give credit to Wicked West's offense there. There were errant throws. Those are execution problems. But the movement they had with their handlers is something I've been doing my armchair coaching from this entire half. It was so much better. Now, if you're Wicked West, you just have to lock in those throws, and you're not going to have a problem with that zone anymore if you have that kind of movement again.
Right now, our halftime score 8-3 for Vortex. They're perhaps on a crash course with another BC team as Eclipse is up 8-1 over Mischief on the other semifinal. We'll be right back for the conclusion of this game.
And we've got about a minute and a half coming back in. This is Tushar Singh from I Am Ultimate. Thank you for tuning in. This is really exciting to see these games over the past few days. Normally, juniors is before seniors. In this particular case, it was switched around because of World Junior Ultimate Championships, and we wanted to be able to give the athletes plenty of time to recover and not rush them into this particular tournament. And we're seeing that on display. Every team has had their share of superstars, and we look to see how they develop over time. These tournaments are really important, and if you've been watching over the last few years, you'll recognize a few of the names that have now made their leap into the senior divisions and have started winning medals at that point as well. And then over the next decade, you'll see some of these names also come up on the Canadian national teams, including the World Games teams. So a really good place for these athletes to improve upon their game and get that pressure experience. I'll hand it over to the commentator and the talent in order to bring us into the second half.
Second half action coming at you from the VC Showcase Field in Brampton, Ontario. Wicked West and Dark out of the capital city of Canada, Ottawa, taking on Vortex in the white jerseys. Fraser Valley Zone. Theo One Clayton Howell on the mic. You just heard from our producer Tushar Singh, who's joined us for today.
Vortex, chance at the organic, the natural break, as my friend Kevin Underhill once deemed it. Starting this half on O after winning the first half, starting the game on D.
Brilliantis going deep, pointing for it. Said it's going to be underneath. Paragas. Scissoring it over, and Brilliantis catching it under some pressure for a goal, and Vortex that half not stopping any of their momentum.
Well, it was a short pull, which really gave an advantage to Vortex there and to hold on to that momentum. We have 30 minutes left in this time slot. This is a semifinal, so it is hard cap. We're not going to worry about any other cap stuff until we get close, as we've talked about it quite a bit, Theo. But, you know, if we get there with our fans, as you give me the side eye, maybe I shouldn't even talk about cap that much. But right now, with a 6-point lead, 30 minutes, it's not insurmountable.
Not insurmountable, but it's got to start now.
Wow, on each other's minds here. We know. We've seen teams make these comebacks. You were covering games in the senior division, watching teams come back from big deficits. So, yeah, we're on the same wavelength here. Wicked West can make this comeback. The Vortex zone, though, has been applied upwind, downwind. Coach KP out there saying who she wants, where. We'll probably see if Wicked West is able to get the disc to the middle field. We'll probably see a melt, as Vortex has been using that center line today as sort of their line in the sand of when to transition.
Pull settling into the ground and going to be centered back to their main O-line handler, Clement. Working things up the line here with some pace.
The melt call.
Over the top.
Sorry, Theo, but the melt call there after Wicked West is able to get it to half. They keep their vertical offense now. They've been comfortable in this one-on-one person defense. Good patience now, not forcing a round break that could have been difficult.
Good movement right now. Cheer finds Hyman coming out of the stack. Excuse me, that's Shannon. Shannon then finding Hyman. Hyman going around looking for Beaulieu, but it's been a story. Throws a little too far.
Throws a little too far in the red zone. We like to call the red zone those few 10 yards outside of the end zone. So frustrating if you're on offense to work it down the field so well, break through a zone, deal with a defensive transition, get it 2 yards out, and then just not complete that last throw for the goal. That anxiety sometimes rearing its head.
Brilliantis has the receiver free. Great clap catch in space for Nemeno. Nemeno feathering it over. And eventually over to Credo's hands. Credo go inside shot. Hyman is there and takes it with the left hand.
Great elevation from Hyman using her size. But a disc off the hands of Cheer. Vortex just about parallel with the brick mark now. And settling it down.
Big mark coming inside shot looking for Brillantes, but Gorber able to knock it down and prevent any contact. Brillantes saying it's my bad for slipping on the field.
I think all the Wicked West players saw that coming, though, and a good job by Gorber to recognize. Gorber's wide open deep. I wonder if Brillantes is baiting that right now. We've seen her make those plays in the deep when she's been a little bit more aggressive coming under in the zone.
Inside to Clement. Clement has Hyman. Finds her. And Hyman going to put this throw a little too far. Looking for Gorber.
Just an unfortunate whiff on that throw. I like the choice to Gorber. Brillantes was far behind her, but just a throw that certainly not what Hyman wanted.
Clement getting some instruction from Coach Hunter. We mentioned one of the 6 coaches for this Ottawa side, and saw them at half trying to dial up some strategy. Hyman poaching off a defender, making a play. Hyman making things happen over to Cheer. Cheer has 2 players there, but neither can come up with the disc.
See Cheer putting her hands on her face, a little bit frustrated, knowing that she can do better on that throw. Theo, we've talked about it. There's no shot clock in Ultimate. Yeah, you are dealing with a cap that is slowly coming down, but if you get outside the end zone, it is worth taking 5 stalls, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, or a few more throws just to ensure you're going to get the goal rather than having to go and generate another turnover, which eats up far more time.
Wicked West still an offensive point here. Clement finding Cheer. Excuse me, Kennedy. Good fake. As they're trying to march their way to a hold. It's still an offensive point for this Ottawa group. High stall. Cheer gonna have to put this up. It's gonna go over Brillantes' head and find a target. But there's a stall call, so we're not gonna crown the goal scorer just yet. I believe that was Hyman.
Cheer, having been to Worlds, using the hand signals. I love it. Thank you for the help. Tells the observer that's what they're discussing. So
that's something everyone should learn, though, is the hand signals. You don't know, you might be playing a team with a different language, or just in general, I think it just leads to good communication.
Yeah, if you ever go for a whiff-diff event, you'll learn that North America is the problem. We are the ones that don't know, while everyone else does. So it's a contestant stall count. The disc will come back in its stalling 8. So the player tapping the disc in on defense will say stalling 8.
That's Sherry Credo. 12 assists coming in this contest. Cheer has to get rid of it. A wobbly throw that Kennedy can't handle. And then a bump from Cheer that's not called. Credo inside shot taken away by Hyman. Hyman doing a great job poaching on the lane, getting some blocks for this Wicked West side, trying to keep her team in it.
Hyman's had a big point.
Beaulieu finds Kennedy. Will give go.
Easy reset.
Shannon throwing it back to Kennedy as Kennedy surveying some options. And has to throw up this big backhand. Hyndman comes down with it. A tricky read. A high stall throw results in a point for Wicked West.
Hyndman having a big point. Wicked West was showing a lot of patience in that throw. Perhaps had some options over the top, but the wind catching it, that's sort of, as a coach, is that a patience problem? Is that an execution problem? But it doesn't matter when you got Nell Hyndman there to use her length and stretch out and make that big grab. A really important hold for Wicked West right now, keeping the game within 5. We've got about 22.5 minutes remaining, Theo. So 5 points, 22.5 minutes, totally doable, but it has to be your show. You have to go on a run right now. If Vortex continues to get holds, it'll be really tough to make up with only 20 minutes left.
So if you're trying to get blocks, if you're allowed to decide, are you going zone? Will that perhaps eat up too much clock? Are you trying to just go hard person underneath? What are you thinking?
I would want to see more of a bracket in the middle. So I'll tell you what I mean. I think you're going person defense on the handlers because the handlers have been so quick and easily moving the disc. Vortex has the throws this game. They have the catches this game. But what I'm thinking is you put someone last back to stop your big strikers that Vortex has continued to employ, and while you have your other players trying to take away the unders. So perhaps a little bit of a triangle, a little bit of poaching in the lanes, but it's going to be a zone.
Paragas on this close sideline. Big active marks, but that through shot's going to do well to keep things going. Poon moving things over to you. A little too far for intended receiver and Condencia. No Credo or Brillantis on this point.
I don't like that choice from you because it's just all the way across the field. It's always a high-risk throw. She had options behind her, but luckily you is able to pick up as Wicked West turfs that.
Poon. So and Condencia faking the open side backhand with Poon going up the line. That throw just not hanging up enough for number 30.
Do we see a zone from Vortex here? I mean, they pretty much have to. It has been so effective when they've had this field position.
Hearing Coach Hunter saying Wicked West needs 4 handlers back. Belanger. Popping it over.
Work hard for that around right now. Go around.
They're going to keep it on this close sideline, towing the line for a nice little grab. Baum Edwards. And trying to go around, but rejected by Marr at the point of attack with the hand block.
Oh, and a flub. You hate to see it. You feel silly. A free turnover for Wicked West.
Good effort to make the extended grab there. Baines trying to make a play and bounce it out of the hands. And this Vortex team, they had some up and down in pool play. So this team has continued to bounce back, and we talked about peaking at the right time.
That's right.
And so Wicked West, having played Eclipse earlier, they played them in power pools where they didn't show them much, so they've had some opportunities. As we see back-to-back turnovers.
That was the right movement idea from Wicked West, but you seeing it all the way, Wicked West players need to remember to come to the disc.
Poon going with a little back shoulder shot, and great effort to try to make that happen.
Call on the throw. Haven't seen the signal yet. I'm going to go with foul, just based on the fact that it was the offense that called it. I think Vortex really likes to put those over the tops in their red zone. With the conditions right now, I mean, they're winning 9-4. Maybe they're just thinking they can go for it, try and punch it in and rack it up, and then comfortable put their zone back on.
Floating it over, but not working out there for Poon. And for these two squads here, Clay, they actually met in 2019. Of course, we talked about a whole different personnel group. Vortex taking that game and getting the bronze medal 11-6 over Wicked West. In fact, Wicked West has never medaled at this tournament, so regardless of this result, they'll still have a chance for a medal, and you know that's going to be on the the eyes and hearts of many of these Wicked West players.
That's right. Our junior division usually being shorter than the senior division when it comes to the days we're playing. So the bronze medal matches will be taking the same place at the same time as finals, so you will not get to see them, unfortunately.
Great grab, but that throw, not what you're hoping to see necessarily, as Brooks does get a grab in traffic.
Upwind, Huck, your receiver is already 30 yards deep. Not worth it. That's the time where you can do a little tic-tac-toe offense as you have fast handlers that have already broken past their defenders to play with.
And for both of these programs, Clay, just being here in this spot, getting on the stream field multiple times, meaning that you've made it. We had a power pool set up for this tournament with some teams trying to move up, which, you know, in the open division, we saw Mischief move up, for example, defeating Canyon on our live stream earlier yesterday. And so we're seeing these opportunities for these players to get exposure. Great shot, and Condencia on the goal line. This is an offensive point for the team in white. And Condencia flipping it over, but flubbed by Paragas.
Theo, I'm freaking out. I hate that throw. That is the hardest throw in Ultimate. Even without a mark, it is so hard to complete. Please don't do that, everybody. Just cut in front and then make a step to the side, unless you have absolutely all day and you can just jog it.
Inside shot to Bohm Edwards. Things over to Brooks. You hear the melt calls as throws really settling down for Wicked West. Belanger out of bounds. Good effort, though.
That's another throw, though, that's tight. That wasn't really necessary. The window of where to throw had really closed close to the sideline. Look for a reset. Zone look from Wicked West.
Flick power grip right there, and I don't know if that throw ever came in, as we're being told by the mark as well, saying never in.
See observer Cecile putting down the orange pylon sandbag to pylon-shaped sandbag to mark where the disc went out of bounds. Belanger with the disc.
Just over 15 minutes left in this contest. Brooks going to the far side, looking for a teammate, but just a tad too far there for Supang. And this tournament, Clay, just gives us a chance to reflect on the opportunity to play Ultimate. It's just a great thing for these players to be back. A lot of them having not played or played regionally and not nationally, of course, last year. And so we had the Ultimate Can Invitational, but not this juniors tournament. So this has been fun to see all the different teams from Newfoundland all the way to British Columbia. Hoping maybe one day we'll see a team from the territories out here at a national championship. That throw bounced in and not going to be caught for a score. And to continue the thought there, Clay, how good is it to be back here in Ontario? I know you had a chance to commentate in 2019, but that was out in Edmonton, and now you're going to make your way over to Ontario.
Yeah, I'm loving the experience to get doing it in both places. It's far warmer here than it was in Edmonton. We wore a blanket every day. And
especially that second day, right? It was really windy.
Yeah, the rain was sideways. But, you know, loving here, standing in the booth, looking around and seeing all these teams play. And that throw sailing too far, but Theo, I look around, the atmosphere in Nationals is back. I see a team celebrating a goal. I see another team locked in a pole in another semi. I look behind me, I see a timeout. It's just all happening at once here.
We want to take the chance to thank volunteers as we get to a timeout. The volunteers in yellow shirts all around the complex making things happen. Vortex trying to get this hold still, and we're going to find out if they can do so after the break. Back on the showcase field for women's semifinal action. Vortex out of BC taking on Wicked West out of Ontario. And we finished before the timeout there, thanking the volunteers. Also want to thank the observers, Team Orange. The observatory it's called. And they've been doing a great job of keeping things in check. Brilliantis with the throw. Finding Incandencia. Incandencia going around. And just caught, but then ground contact causing that to slip out potentially.
Incandencia, such a good choice. Wait, let a player cut to the open side of the break side of the field where she's wide open. That was just an execution problem, but I love the fact that she was so patient and didn't try and punch it.
Brilliantis swooping out of the air for that one. Keeping things moving. No Credo on this point, and Wicked West, an opportunity. Belanger going to put it out. This one's going to blade a little bit and be tricky for the receiver to read, so Incandencia will get the block. Point and throw from Brilliantis, looking deep. Trying to find Siraban, who lays it out. And so, Clay, we've thanked the observers, volunteers. Who else do we need to thank? Sponsors. Why don't you do that?
We need to talk about our sponsors. We're here at the Credit View Sandalwood Field in Brampton, Ontario. This tournament is sponsored by Brampton. Theo, in case you didn't know, Brampton is located in Ontario. Also sponsoring this tournament, making it happen for us. Brampton has really come through to help us continue. Lots of events here for Ultimate Canada, and it was so great that they were able to host such a big event on the heels of the pandemic. We are on our VC Showcase field where we've been bringing you everything. Some pretty nice swag from them this year in the merch tent. And lastly, we got to thank Discraft, our biggest sponsor, providing us with the most important piece of equipment to this game, the discs.
Brilliantis faking the around. Now the inside, flipping it over. Finds her target, which is Poon for the score.
Those were some nasty fakes. Brilliantis getting all the way down with the lunges. Sold her defender a little bit. Wicked that point. I like to highlight defensively. They were doing a good job of staying with all the big throws. We did see an earlier turnover that Belanger forced when she was beat deep, but because she stayed right on her defender's hip, or cutter's hip, that receiver seemed to shade more into playing against Belanger instead of getting where she had to be to receive the disc. So both teams still doing things well, but just it seems that Vortex is edging out Wicked West here in making the big, difficult grabs.
Time being the way it is, Wicked West in tough right now, but you want to see them build some good habits right here, and they're still going to have a chance for a bronze medal, Clay, and I think that's important to think about. I think right now, 6 points, the time the way it is, perhaps out of reach based on some of the long, windy zone points we've faced. So for this offensive line, you want to build in, get a couple points, keep that structure going, and get yourself ready for the next matchup.
Yeah, last game we streamed, actually, I kind of had to eat my words as it was Toro who had called a timeout after the cap was on and the game was over, but kind of realized after the fact that was a time where it's like, well, the day's not over. We have another medal game ahead of us. Let's work out what we're doing. Wicked West making these big grabs now. Vortex doing a good job to force some risky throws. But Wicked West showing some good hands right now.
Clement getting the shot through the cup. Snagged down by Gorber.
Gorber, thank you for not throwing that huck.
And Clement finds her teammate. And that's what you want to see, that movement from the offensive line.
Absolutely, taking the easier shots. Gorber waiting, saying, I'm not going to throw into coverage. I'll take an easy reset, which sets up a far easier throw. Good patience shown by Wicked West. Vortex players still with their heads up. Coach KP making sure everybody gets a high five. To requiring some effort to get to every player, but cool to see, keeping everybody's head in it.
I believe that's Mooter with the score as a lead. 10-5 here, and we forgot someone else to thank. That's the coaches.
Yeah, the coaches for these teams have a difficult job. It's really tough to keep your own wits about you, whether you're elated and elevated and excited about how well your team is doing, or kind of having a hard time putting your feelings of disappointment or sadness if you're losing a game to a side and keeping your players in it. I've been seeing, certainly on our VC Showcase field, coaches just in always high spirits, sometimes laughing with each other, but making it all about the players, which is what you want to see from coaches, making sure that these players want to continue playing Ultimate. And there's one more thing we should say. Our stream has been on the CBC Sports channel on YouTube. CBC broadcasting some Ultimate.
Hey, we love it.
CBC broadcasting some Ultimate. I've never said that. That actually gave me chills saying that. Really, really cool fact about this tournament.
Good cheers from Vortex here. Brillante's still out on this point and going to air this one out for Credo. Bess is there, but Credo does a great job of reading it as Brillantes, another assist.
Credo with the superior read. Brillantes probably saying to herself, I wanted that to be a little bit snappier on the throw, something which wasn't so contested. But Brillantes with her fifth point this game. She is number 8. Number 8, fifth point of this game between assists and goals. But just a great read by Credo, knowing exactly where to go. And Theo, one thing I want to point out, players often play the person before they play the disc. So what that means is players, when they're around defenders or vice versa, they know they're going to have to go up for a sky and make a contested catch. Sometimes the error is to try and box out or muscle out the opposing team first before they've put themselves somewhere where they can catch it. And Credo there doing the opposite, the right thing to do, making sure that her defenders not worrying about where her defenders were, and first putting herself somewhere where she could catch it, and then worrying about the defender. So playing the disc first, and then working out the box out from knowing where she can catch it. Excellent presence of mind by Credo there, and discipline to know where she has to be. So the wind hasn't changed this game too much, Theo. I mean, it's been gusty the whole time. It is starting to come from our backs across the field. We've seen the Vortex zone forcing so many turnovers.
Wicked West offense doing a great job the last point as they worked in person. This throw just slightly too far for Gorber, rocketing itself down into the turf.
Looking down there, I was curious, we had talked about it earlier, if Wicked was going to run the zone. Wicked West recognizing that perhaps Vortex's game having no real problem moving the disc up the field. So Wicked West deciding to go into person matchup.
That throw goes in the mark. Not sure if there's a call. Brillantes putting her hand over her head, laughing along with what happened.
Yeah, I don't think there was a call. She just stuck her hand out and kind of said to herself, did I just do that? She's obviously been given the green light. But, she's a little making fun of herself a little bit there for that flub.
Great up line cut from Bolio, selling the backfield, then going into that front cone space. Gorber finds Bolio for the score. So 2 straight holds from the Ottawa side.
Bolia changing one cut that didn't work into another that would. The notion to make 2 cuts out of every movement you make, a tough thing to learn. Sometimes players thinking, I've made my one move, I've made my cut under, or I've made my cut out, and now I'm done. Instead, Bolia makes her cut out into the middle of the end zone. It doesn't work. She comes right back to the front with a big hard cut and gets the goal. You see Coach Eric Hunter, also known as Max Hunter in the West. It's a long story. Dancing with his players, trying to keep their spirits up. A timeout call. Not sure by which team, but with the time as it is, it's pretty much decided. So perhaps a time just to think about how are we going to have a positive finish for this game, no matter which team you are.
Yeah, we'll let the two teams talk it out as we take a break. Second half action coming at you from the VC Showcase Field. We talked about this before the break, and we'll talk about it again. Both teams getting themselves ready for their next matchup. Vortex going to take this game and head over to the final, which is super exciting. I believe they'll be taking on Eclipse, but we'll just confirm that for you.
Yeah, we see Vortex. Can't see it on your screen right now, but Vortex is sideline. Excited right now. They know what's happening. It will be Eclipse in the final versus Vortex as Eclipse won their game 15-2. The horn going, so that is hard cap, so that means finish this point and the game will be over. So it'll be Vortex for sure. Just who scores the last point, we shall see.
Zipping it over and finding Boulanger. And so getting players playtime. Love that from the coaches towards the end. And then also making sure that they're sticking to the systems as well. It's a bit of both. You want to make sure they're also doing the right things. And
yeah, start looking ahead. Start running your plan, get it right. And you see there Lily Suping reeling that in as Wicked celebrates. I mean, the game is over, but it's 11-7, but Wicked West doing a cheer. Obviously, they have moved on. That timeout, perhaps time to discuss. We're moving on from this game. It's over. But now let's think about how we play good ultimate together so we go into our bronze medal match in high spirits and perhaps for the first time bring home some hardware.
Wicked West will be playing a pool play rematch against Mischief. They dispatched them 11-7 in their first look at them. So we'll see what happens in this next contest. But right now we tell you not to go away because in about 15 minutes or so, 12:30 Eastern, Junior Open Final. Get pumped up, folks. Eclipse from Vancouver, British Columbia, taking on the Masters of Flying Objects from Winnipeg, Manitoba in an epic clash. Don't miss out.